Good morning. It's the Call Flow Radio Show, and you're on the air.
I didn't remember this theme being quite so long. Does Chris usually talk over this part of it? I think he probably does. It's distracting to me. I'm not sure what I'm doing here right now. Yeah. Well, good morning, Farmville, on this kind of wet, I won't say gloomy morning, because everybody I've seen seems to be in a pretty good mood. So we are lucky, though, today on Call Flow that we have a visitor. Our visitor is Sarah Mullen Spears. Hopefully I said that all right.
It's pretty simple.
It is. So I'll tell our listeners, you're the founder of the Better Days in Farmville, and I think that Better Days is something that is national, or
No.
is it? Okay. Tell us what that's about. I hear you.
We took our concept from Blackberry Winter, which is an organization where I grew up in Richlands, Virginia, which is about 5 hours west on 460.
Okay.
Which you can hear already in my voice. I'm a mountain girl, and so
I love mountain girls.
Me too.
Blackberry Winter is a term that we have for in the end of May, when you've pulled out all your shorts and put your coats away, and then it gets cold again, and you have to freeze for a few days.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cold snap, and people experience cold snaps in life. And so Terry Crawford Brown, who started Blackberry Winter, she started her organization to help people when they had their cold snaps in life. But living in Farmville, I realized that maybe that was a colloquial term that wouldn't maybe translate as easily.
Yes.
So we kept the concept, but we changed the name to Better Days, because that seemed to be something maybe a little bit more in the vernacular in these parts.
It works.
Yes.
It definitely works.
Right.
So what is it that you actually are accomplishing?
We are helping families who are experiencing a cold snap and are starting over to furnish their homes.
Oh, okay. So it's about furnishing the home.
Yeah.
I think I read here, it's not about clothing.
No.
But it's about... Go ahead.
Yes. No, there are several organizations. I know Piedmont Church of Christ does a really wonderful job. They have a monthly giveaway of clothing, you know, and there are several other churches that have, the Catholic Church has a clothing bank. I mean, that can be done in a relatively small space. And so we were trying to we were a niche need that wasn't being met in the community.
Right,
so we are unable to find the homes. That's something that Social Services and STEPS works towards doing. And they have the government funding. We're a completely private organization.
Really?
It's really just volunteers. Yes.
So are you dependent on donorship? Is that...
Yes.
And it's financial donorship, I assume, along with...
Financial donorship is helpful. I mean, the only really cost that we have right now is storage units. But we're limited in what we can give and serve by storage units, and they're not the cheapest things.
No. Yeah.
So financially right now, and I would love to have a permanent home, and so that when we do get financial donations, what we could do is buy new beds.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because everything right now, all of is just being absorbed into rent, which is...
So how can somebody donate? How can they get in touch with you, or what's the method?
Well, we have a Facebook page, right? That's like the easiest way. So if you just search in Better Days Farmville, it comes up. We do have a telephone number, which goes straight to me, which is 434-321-8602. And then we have an email, which is betterdaysfva@gmail.com.
That's great. We've had a couple of guests in here, and I think the last guy that was here, Doug, I was asking him about recycling, because I come from California, and where I lived, we had this amazing recycling center right next to the dump. So people could come and drop off their furniture and drop off their windows and building supplies and that type of stuff, which seems right in line with what you're kind of doing.
It's half the mission, right?
Well,
it bothers me.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, I had a little store called Man Cave Imagination Center in there, and the idea was to reuse, repurpose, and recycle things. And I think in Farmville, I kept looking for a place to go where I could find things like furniture or building supplies. And I know that there's the Habitat for Humanity, which is great. I'm glad that we have something like that in Farmville. But I think there's still a lot of people throwing away furniture and appliances where they could be donated for a cause like this.
Right.
So
we work with Habitat. Sarah, it's easy
you?
to remember.
Okay.
So, sometimes, I mean, they have a very important mission because they can build homes for people, right, which I can't do. And they're great, and we refer people to Habitat all the time if somebody reaches out and they just need a dresser, because that's not what we do. We don't give singular piece of furniture, except beds for children. I'm still subbing, but I mean, I'm a trained and seasoned teacher, and every year I could tell you by the middle of September which child did not have their own bed to sleep in.
Wow.
All the studies show, we really think that there's this ADHD epidemic, but what there is there's a lack of bed and rest epidemic.
Sleep is so critical.
It really is. And you don't rest, you're not ready to learn, and rest is how your short-term memory becomes your long-term memory.
Exactly.
So we're really passionate about that. So if there's any child in anywhere, I mean, we don't set limits as far as where you have to live. And that's a good part about being a private organization.
Right.
The only deal is you have to come get it, right?
Okay.
So if somebody's listening, I mean, we've had people come from as far as, Meherrin and Zion's Crossroads. That's fine. If your child needs a bed, if you're starting over, we're here to help. You just have to have the transportation and come and pick it up in Farmville.
Gotcha. Is it possible for somebody, if they wanted to, donate their time with a truck? That's throwing out ideas here, I guess.
Well, what we do need people with trucks, we need that as really to pick up furniture. I get calls every week about, we have all this stuff in our basement, right? And I am a singular 45-year-old woman with 2 part-time jobs. And so I do my best to accommodate, and I drag my poor husband out almost every weekend to pick up at least, one load. We'll be out. But I would love to have a couple of pickup crews. I think it's helpful for the families to come and pick up things, and I've found that, transportation is the trickiest thing, but I think it helps them build community within their neighborhood. I had a lady, and it took her 2 months, but finally she just went and knocked on a neighbor's door who she saw a pickup truck in the driveway, and they were in Amelia, and he drove her all the way over from Amelia, and she got what she needed, and he had told her, anytime you need something, you just have to knock on my door. I'll help you. So, it's an imperfect system, but people, we forget we're meant to be, a collective. We're not really designed to do everything by ourselves.
My soapbox has always been, it's all about connection. You have to connect with people. If you don't, you're like, and that has to do with sleep also. You're young and you're just going and going. You don't realize how critical that is until later on, and then you can't really repair what you don't have anymore. So, is there anything that you don't take, or
again, we don't do clothing.
Just clothing?
And we can't. We have 330 odd feet of storage right now. That I feel like we pay for with blood, and and so, lots of people want to give us toys, and that's wonderful, but it's just we don't have room for it.
Gotcha.
And we really don't even take pictures and
artwork or anything like
knickknacks and things, because it's just you think you look at an empty storage unit and it looks like a lot of space, but then, you put 4 or 5 couches, a couple of dining room tables, and 6 twin beds, and, you're stacking things to the ceiling.
I know it too well. I had one in California when I emptied out my shop, my storefront. It all went into a storage, and it was there for 4 years, and I'm paying $500 a month for this storage. And that was part of my reason to move here, because I figured if I got rid of that $500 a month, I could afford something somewhere. Right. But that can be really tough. So I would assume that you would be more than happy to accept some kind of space, as a donation here.
That would be
coming down 15, there's those huge warehouses there that aren't getting used. I know they aren't getting used. It would just be so nice to connect you guys and grow this thing. How long have you been doing this?
My birthday's in January.
Happy birthday.
And a little late.
Yeah.
The almanac was pretty close to my birthday today, though. So last year for my birthday when I turned 45, I rented one storage unit and asked people to give me the stuff they didn't want out of their house. And so pretty quickly I had 3 10 by 10 storage units full. And then it took a little bit to get people to understand I just wanted to give them furniture. Like people were a little confused, you know, like it was a little bit of a different concept. And finally I had a good talk with Kevin Meadows, who runs social, you know, is the head of social services in Prince Edward County, and he got it. And so in June, he called me and said, "Hey, I've got a family," right? And really, once we were able to post pictures and people saw the work in action, since then we are closing in on 50 families. So, in less than a year, and I
especially for
should
somebody
do
who's
better
got
with
2
paper,
jobs.
right?
Sorry, go ahead.
And a farm. But I think I could be better at paperwork. That's the part I'm not the best at. I think we're right about 100 kids, you know, in their own beds. That's amazing. It's awesome. So is he your main contact for people? It comes from all over.
It does, okay.
We ask that somebody gives you a reference, but it doesn't have to be an official organization. We work with Prince Edward Social Services, Buckingham Social Services has sent several people. Habitat. Sometimes people walk into Habitat. I mean, they're designed to do things, but they're not, you know, they sell their furniture to have the money, right, to build houses. So when people come in and we had a family who lost their home on Christmas to a fire. So they came into Habitat and saying, you know, what can we get for like this amount of money? And so Sarah called me up and, you know, 2 days later we had their house, you know, probably we ask for a list of what everybody needs, and usually we're able to get somewhere between 80 and 90% of that list.
That's great.
We don't really keep a lot of electronics, you know, so like the TVs and stuff we can't do. Curtains are tricky because everybody's windows are different sizes. Right. If somebody donates curtains that have the sizes on them, you know, we offer them when people come and pick up. So we aren't usually able to check every single box, but we're able to at least get everybody, you know, in a bed and 9 times out of 10 a place to sit and have a meal together, and dishes and pots and things to make that meal.
That's great.
So
I assume it's pretty quick too. Once somebody you've got their name.
It's largely dependent upon their ability to get transportation.
Okay.
If they have their stuff together, it's usually just a day or 2.
Yeah. I forgot that I need to address the callers here. You can call in and please ask Sarah some questions. And could you? Number? Oh, yeah. You're so picky.
I know.
The number is 434-394-0924. So give us a call. Now I forgot the question that I was about to ask.
Oh, dear.
You have something?
Dear. Do I have any questions?
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you again to please, I'm going to probably ask a couple more times to give out your number or any contact information you got.
So our Facebook page, which is just Better Days Farmville, is by far has the most information. And if anybody would like to make us a web page, that would be amazing too. That is also not in my skill set, right? Yeah. But we post on that. Excuse me. We post on that. We put a lot of pictures up of our big give days and information. But then I have a local phone number. It is 434-321-8602. And we also have an email, which is betterdaysfva@gmail.com.
I see that you're wearing a sweatshirt with the Better Days logo on that. I love it. I really do.
My dear friend from high school designed this, pro bono for us, and I love it. So.
I do too. I'm especially fond of rainbows.
I do too. I love rainbows.
You should see.
Never have found that daggone pot of gold, though.
Really?
No.
Wow. Hey, we got some time after this. Let's go get some. Let's go get some gold. So, is there anything else you'd like to let the listeners know about?
I think we just want to say that we're really proud of some of the partnerships that we've built just in the last year. We're kind of new to Farmville in a way. My family, we moved here about 6 years ago. And the very first person that walked through my door was Patsy Watson, which probably set the bar pretty high in what I thought community engagement in Farmville is, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, because I've never really met anybody quite as hands-on and loving her community as Patsy.
Okay.
But we have, in just the last year, we have a whole host of great partnerships because, like we said, neighbors loving neighbors is what we're about. And, everything, really probably 95% of what we give. Sometimes we get a little bit of financial donation money left over and we can buy some kids bedding. That's our favorite thing to buy. Or sometimes we need some odds and ends to make a complete bed. But, 95% of the time the need is really met by the generosity of the community. But the Helton House here in Richmond, they sort out when people donate sheets. They put the sheets and the comforters and everything together so that when I come in and I have a bed to give, then it's all nice and bundled and ready, and I just pull a queen and there it is, or a twin.
That's great.
And they are also going to start sorting our towels and washcloths for us. Wow. So and that is absolutely my favorite partnership. So I'm going to start with it. Like I've already mentioned, Habitat. Sometimes when we get some stuff that's just a little decorative or unusable for us, we donate that to Habitat to help their mission.
Okay.
If they get a family that really needs a lot, they send them our way, right? So we're proud of that. The Rotary Club is now our pillow partner.
Oh, pillows, yeah.
And so you can't get a good night's sleep without pillows, right? So the Rotary Club is now buying all the pillows. So every bed we give will have a pillow from the Rotary Club, which takes a little bit off our plate, right? And it's just... we're really excited about that.
Wow.
And Faces has been a wonderful partner. I mean, Joanna and Paul really, food insecurity and housing insecurity are really interconnected. And we're actually, they've been very gracious in offering a place for us to put some kind of permanent storage. They are with Faces. It's just a daunting I've never built anything in my life. So it's...
well, there are lots of people around who do know how to build.
Right. So we're still in kind of the wrap your head around it phase there, but we really hope that we're right there at some point in the future with Faces, because that's just a natural fit.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
helping people in the community. I mean, it sounds like you've really brought people together.
Right.
I relate it to like a vortex of energy. That's what it feels like, and people are starting to go, "Hey, this feels good. Let's do some more of this stuff."
It's absolutely. Every time, like when we're done, it's of course you said it is a pretty quick turnaround, like we just said. Like 1 to 2 days, we really try to have it together, and then people come and like yesterday. We had a family of 7, so it was 6 beds, 7 dressers, dining room chairs, living room furniture. I don't even know how many boxes of dishes and towels and microwave and toaster ovens and, forks and spoons. It all it adds up, right?
Sure does.
Really quickly. There's 2 20-foot trailers. We didn't quite fill up the second 20-foot trailer, but I mean, probably about 30, bunk beds. And I mean,
that's great.
And it's, an hour and a half of just push. But it doesn't matter if it's like that big one or just 2 beds for a pair of boys. There's this moment of pause where I'm leaving and everything's done and I have to wait for the gate to open at the storage units to let me out, and I just cry. I can't, it's not like a 20-minute bawl, but it's just like, I don't know. I think it's just the gratitude because it's not really, the volunteers and we just stand in the we're just a conduit, right? Like I couldn't give people these things if people didn't trust me with them.
Right.
So there's an incredible gratitude that we get to stand, in the need and meet it. Yeah. But it's really humbling and and emotional to watch. But in the moment, you're just helping. But there's always that moment when it's all over that is
I can tell you're one of those people whose kind of general attitude is of being of service. You know, I strive for that myself most of the time. I try. I'm always really impressed with people who can accomplish as much as you have accomplished in such a short amount of time. That's amazing.
It's really, though, it's Farmville. Like we've lived a lot of places. My husband and I are both prior service, and he works for the federal government. So we've lived several places. I think this is our fifth home. As Farmville's got a different energy.
Yes, it does. I can agree.
It's got this can-do-ness about it, and it's like if you just get brave enough to say it out loud in Farmville, people go, "Okay, how can I help?" And it's just, I mean, I felt like I was home really from the moment we set foot in the driveway, but it's a wonderful place to live, and we're really happy we settled here.
I'm sure and I know a lot of people are happy you settled here also.
Yes, yeah.
And then the last thing I was just going to ask you about, and we'll get moving on this, is the people you give it to. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's got to be so much fun to see how relieved and happy they are. I'm sure it's the gratitude you were talking about, you know, when you're leaving there. But yeah, what's the people been like to you?
I mean, as a whole, yes. We try. I mean, I want to make. It's not. I mean, again, it's not me, right? It's the people of Farmville giving this. I'm just the person that unlocks the storage, right? But and lots of times they're in crisis, so they're just overwhelmed. But a couple of weeks ago, we had a family starting over, and I was just kind of out of dressers, and it's been remarkable how the needs been met in the moment. How inevitably someone steps up and has exactly what we need. So we were just out of dressers, and so I put up a post, and almost immediately I got a response that said, "I've got a dresser, but it's purple. I've got a vanity too, but they're bright purple." And I was like, well, but there was an 8-year-old girl that was within that family. And so when they showed up, she just started squealing, "It's the best day of my life." And so that kind of stuff feels good. Yesterday we were short. We had enough mattresses for, 7 is a lot, right? I had ordered a platform base and was going to get it to the family later, but Michael Tapscott, who was the minister at Passion Church here in Farmville, is now the online minister, who I'd never met before yesterday. In the middle of me pulling things up, shows up with an entire full bedroom suit, which finished out the need. And been, I don't know.
Serendipitous?
Yes.
Synchronicity?
It's
Perfect.
at the very least, it is the universe, pointing ever towards the good and the possibility of when a community comes together.
It is amazing. It is totally amazing.
Yeah.
What you put your energy into is what grows out of that. So we need to get going on birthdays and that type of stuff. We thank you immensely for coming in.
Can I just give one tiny plug?
Absolutely.
So 3 Roads Brewery, right? Just right here, your neighbor,
yes.
right?
Right. Uh-huh.
For the entire month of March, there's going to be an option when you buy a beer to round up or to donate to Better Days Farmville.
Awesome.
And that will help us help your neighbors.
That's cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So round it up. Round it up, right? That's great. I wish you all the best.
We do, Sarah.
And I thank you for the service you are doing.
Well, thank you all so much for the opportunity to speak about it. So I really appreciate it. And you all have a great day, okay?
You too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was Sarah. Thank you so much. Now it looks like it's time for birthdays. Weather birthdays. I'm so glad Chris is here. She's keeping me right on line, in track. Yes, okay. So the weather. She's going to make me do it the right way. I like to do it off my phone, but no, we're going to do it off of the computer. It looks like there's going to be showers today, in case you hadn't figured that out by looking outside. But they're going to be wrapping up by about 10 o'clock. And then we've already seen the fog kind of come and roll around for a while.
Yeah.
But today is going to get to be 73 degrees with light winds, 3 to 8 miles per hour. That sounds great to me. It's a slight chance of participation, but it's just a slight chance, I guess, is what they're trying to tell me there. Tonight, we're going to have a chance of rain after 4 a.m., and it's going to be mostly cloudy with a low around 44. Again, light winds, chance of precipitation at 50%. On Friday, rain, mainly after 7 a.m., which is during our lovely work day.
Yes.
But hey, it's Friday. Rain, sunshine, maybe it doesn't matter all that much for a Friday. The nice thing is that the weekend is going to turn out beautiful. It looks like a little chilly in the lows, 35, 33, and then Monday night the low is going to be 46. But those highs, Saturday and Sunday, are going to be in the 60s. So I hope you really enjoy the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think it's birthday time. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Do we do the home birthdays first, or?
We do our home birthdays.
Cool.
Home birthdays first.
So I should play this little birthday, little thing
jingle,
right here, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Celebrating birthdays today. This is March the 2nd. And we have Sherman Carter of Dillwyn celebrating today. I want to say Meg Hicks. She is my daughter-in-law.
Uh-huh.
They live, she's Paul's wife, or Trey's wife, I should say. They live in Magnolia Green, which is right outside of Richmond. Happy birthday to Meg. And let's see who else is celebrating on this second day of March. We have Tyler Rigsby, Stephen Dye, Stacy Hughes also celebrating a birthday today. Let's see, no anniversaries to tell you about, so that's going to do it.
Okay. So
Larry, for our birthdays, of course, we wish everybody celebrating out there that have a wonderful day today.
And don't they want a little more music in there?
Yeah, and be sure to send those names in to birthdays
Yes.
at WFLO.net, or you can mail them in to us, 217.
We like the birthdays. We get all excited when we see a lot of birthdays out there. And then Chris knows like 3/4 of the people, so it's
Well,
kind
yeah, well, some I do.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm learning. I'm getting there.
Of course you are.
Hey, what about some famous birthdays?
Okay, well,
Does that work for you?
Go all the way down.
No. Hey, you let go of my. What are you doing with my mouse?
Yeah, I'm a control
Hey,
freak.
stop it! Yes, you are. Chris is not going to let me go outside the box here.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do you want to read these?
What?
The doctors today's?
Seuss.
Yeah, these are famous
Reliable
birthdays
characters
today.
in the world. All right, Dr. Seuss. His
Mm-hmm.
birthday.
Becky G's,
Gee, I don't know. She's an accomplished singer, I guess.
an actress. I think she charmed the entertainment world
Yeah.
with her.
She's with her. Oh,
It said
okay.
with her brilliance. I was reading
Brilliance,
it.
okay.
Okay.
Cindy Mellows is having a birthday today. She's
She's a
grown
social
immensely,
media.
Yeah, popular on social media, reaching over 1.3 million Instagram followers.
It's really, really amazing what these kids can do. I mean, a lot of money. I'm gonna make you try to read that name.
Janivi Kapoor.
Oh, yeah, it made it sound easy.
Yeah.
She's an actress. Did Bollywood, a lot of Bollywood stuff, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, John Bon Jovi. The reason I get excited about that is because I can always say I met him in the studio at Cherokee, and he was running around the studio. He's just like hitting everything and everybody. He was in a good mood and just highly energized, but it was fun. It was fun to watch him and his whole band. They did a live take of a cover. I can't remember what it was, but it was fun. Luke Combs? Mm-hmm. Who's Luke Combs?
He's a promising and influential country music star.
Yeah.
Making his mark on the entertainment
This picture makes him look angry.
It does.
I'm sorry about that. And the last one for today.
Savannah LeBrant.
Uh-huh.
She's a fashion mogul,
Oh.
a lifestyle blogger, and a photographer. She's become a trendsetter in the world of influencing.
Wow. So do you have a blog you look at
No.
or a podcast or anything
No.
like that?
No.
Okay.
Don't have time.
It's just adamantly no here.
Adamantly, I'm not on Facebook either.
I don't have any of those. Oh, I do have Facebook, but I don't blog or do any of that. It's an interesting world. Oh, I got 0 results of that. Did we do National Calendar Day? We did
No.
not. Well, it looks like a good time to do that.
All right.
What do we got here?
National Old Stuff Day. Take that,
Old
As it comes.
stuff.
Old stuff day.
Just old stuff.
Old
You,
stuff.
I've got some of that. Old
Today is National Hospitalist Day.
stuff.
So for all of you,
Hospitalist.
yes, hospitalists.
Does that mean multiple hospitals, or it's just a
No,
essence of hospitalists?
They're people who, they're hospitalists. They go in and help out and,
Help out
take
like
care of-
nursing,
Mhm,
doctors?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
not admin or
No.
front desk type of people.
National Banana
Ooh.
Cream Pie Day.
Yes. I like banana cream pie in, small portions, I suppose.
Yeah.
What I like.
Red Cross America Day. National Read Across America, excuse me. Read Across America Day.
Well, I think really something that is actually really, really important is World Teen Mental Wellness Day. So, it's if you know of a teen that's suffering or having a hard time, if you can give them or somehow help them out, that's always a serviceable thing to do.
That's right.
All right, today in history. Today is Thursday, March 2nd, 61st day of 2023. The highlights. On March 2nd, 1962, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points for Philadelphia Warriors. That had to have been amazing. I mean, I remember it. I wasn't even born, but they showed that. It was just like a standard of excellence. It was impressive. That was amazing.
He's a tall guy.
Of all the things you could have said.
I know.
Okay, how about this one?
In 1861, and we'll go back, the state of Texas, having seceded from the Union, was admitted to the Confederacy.
Don't they want to do that every time a Democrat gets into office? It's the same with California. They always say it. If it's a Republican, California's going to secede. If it's a Democrat, Texas is going to secede. So.
1877, Republican Rutherford B. Hayes was declared the winner of the 1876 presidential election over Democrat Samuel J. Tilden, even though Tilden had won the popular vote.
Still, it's amazing. Even that far back,
Yeah.
it was a problem, and everybody knows it's the right way to solve it, but we'll see. In 1917, actor, producer, director, and band leader Desi Arnaz was born in Santiago de Cuba.
Huh.
That's Lucy.
Lucy.
Lucy
Lucy Ball.
there was some genius on that show. I mean, they acted silly, but you could.
Yeah,
there's a lot of smart
we
in there.
still get a kick out of watching that every once in a while.
Do you?
Yeah.
Where do you find it? Is it like?
Don't ask me that right now. I don't know. You just have to streaming, and I don't know what
Never mind. There's nothing to see here. It's the Wizard of Oz. I'm behind the.
Right.
Okay. In 1932, the 20th Amendment of the Constitution, which moved the date of the presidential inauguration from March 4th to January 20th, it was passed by Congress and sent to the states for ratification. I
don't know why.
Well, it sure is a long way away from, I assume the election's still done in November or whatever. So
maybe it's enough time to get his paperwork all together, or out of the capital or whatever.
Well, you're 32. Interesting.
In 1939, John Ford's classic Western Stagecoach, starring Claire Trevor and John Wayne, opened in New York.
Wow, you know who'd be excited about that?
Oh, yeah.
Our own John here. He does an amazing John Wayne voice.
Does he?
You know, he
Yeah.
doesn't do it much on the air, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, John is very talented.
He is. He's got the
very
voice.
talented guy.
And he's funny.
He can sing like,
Yeah.
he's good.
All right.
Let's see. 1943, the three-day Battle of the Bismarck Sea began in the Southwest Pacific during World War II. U.S. and Australian warplanes were able to inflict heavy damage on an Imperial Japanese convoy.
Wow. That whole Pacific thing was strange to me. I don't know. It just weird.
Let's see. What's
Oh, I was looking at the next little entry.
Well,
in here.
you do it.
Well, it's Rosa Parks'
Yeah.
famous defiance on this day in 1955 at Claudette Colvin, a black high school student in Montgomery, Alabama, was arrested after refusing to give up her seat on a public bus.
Got it. 1985, the government approved a screening test for AIDS that detected antibodies to the virus, allowing possibly contaminated blood to be excluded from the blood supply.
Wow. So I read an article the other day that said the 8th person to be cured of HIV is registered now. So they have a cure now.
Right.
For it. I don't know if it's a cure for anybody, but it's a cure for some of the people,
Yeah,
which is
that's
amazing.
good
I mean, what a change that made in all of our lives in that time. If you were
I
young,
know,
especially.
It's a pretty
it was-
scary time. It's
Yeah.
been a while.
In 1989, representatives from the 12 European nations agreed to ban all production of CFCs. That's chlorofluorocarbons. I assume that's because of the ozone layer. Yep, big old hole in the ozone layer. By the end of the 20th. Cool. Now, I've heard conflicting stories about the current state of the ozone layer. Some people say it is repairing itself, and other people say it's getting bigger or thinner is basically what they're saying. So
Haven't
I'm not
heard
sure what's
much
right.
about that recently, so I really can't comment on that.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that it's repairing itself.
Yeah.
In 1995, the internet search engine website Yahoo was incorporated by founders Jerry Yang and David Philo.
So I don't know. Do you use Yahoo? What is your search engine of choice?
Google.
Google. Yeah, most people are that way. And Yahoo's so old. It's just so aggressive right now. It's driving Chris Bouchon crazy because it kept coming up. We'd get rid of it, and it would
Yeah,
show
things
up.
happen like that. You get rid of it, and then boom.
You click on that little thing that says, hey, download, because you think you're downloading something, and then you just changed your entire browser.
That's right.
Ooh, Supreme Court, 2011. What we got?
They ruled 8-1 that grieving father's pain over mocking protests at his Marine son's funeral had to yield to First Amendment protections for free speech in a decision favoring the Westboro Church of Topeka, Kansas.
Wow, that's a little surprising, I think.
Well, let's see here. And some 40 people were killed by tornadoes in 2012. I remember that. That struck Alabama, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. That was
Wow.
a sad day.
10 years ago, the day after the $85 billion in across-the-board federal spending cuts went into effect, President Barack Obama and congressional Republicans refused to concede any culpability for the failing to stave off the sequester. Alaska's 41st Iditarod Trail kicked off on this day 10 years ago. I don't know what this is saying.
Well, we don't usually do that anyway.
Okay. What do we got on the list here? Do we have more business we need to take care of? Is there something else we want to talk about? Do we have any callers that want to call in and let us know what's happening? It is on. So we'd love to have your call.
Yeah. Well, I have some good news.
You do?
High school seniors managed to secure $250,000 for their sweet 80-year-old janitor who had to come out of retirement after his rent went up.
Wow.
The money was raised through a GoFundMe, which started out as a simple goal of $10,000, but quickly took on a goal of its own. Now, several seniors at Callisburg High School in Texas noticed their school had a new janitor. Mr. James, an 80-year-old former retiree, whose rent had gone up $400 and needed a job to support it. Believing they could use their whippersnapper knowledge of the internet and social media to help out, they got the idea to open a GoFundMe to help 80-year-old Mr. James get back to doing 80-year-old things. Now, it's crazy to see something like that. We knew people would have wanted to help, but we didn't know that it would blow up as much as it did.
Wow, yeah.
A single TikTok video was posted by senior Grayson Thurman showing Mr. James cleaning the halls along with a GoFundMe aiming to help James continue to live comfortably. I have 2,000 followers, and that was enough to get the word out, raising $10,000 in 12 hours.
Wow.
Most of the donations came from students.
That's great. Well, they're really the ones that would do it, too. They're the ones that are used to kind of supporting online figures.
Well, local news reported on the fund drive in mid-February when there was still a 5-digit sum on the table, but it had turned off after passing $270,000.
Oh, wow.
In order to get Mr. James the money as soon as possible. Donations came from all over the country and even beyond, wishing the short-term janitor a happy retirement and congratulating the students for their brilliant idea.
That's very cool.
Isn't that cool?
I find the janitor an interesting character in life and in movies and everything else. He pays they play an interesting role for us all, and that something like that is I feel could possibly come from some of those shows and stuff where it's they create a little. Oh, I got a SpaceX launch in the U.S. What does this say here? SpaceX has launched 4 astronauts to the International Space Station for NASA. This stuff fascinates me, actually, all the space stuff. Yeah. And that, it sounds funny to me that they're doing it for NASA. Right. NASA used to be such the forerunner. The crew includes the first person from the Arab world going up for a months-long stay. The Falcon rocket bolted from Florida's Kennedy Space Center. I would love to see one of these. How about you?
What? Yes, I would love that. Yeah.
Maybe we could get a caller and let us know if they want to see one or not.
Okay.
But
sure.
And it's possible the phone's not working right now.
It is possible.
It is. We tried to call it. Anyway, the Dragon capsule should reach the space station on Friday. See, another reason to celebrate, Friday, space station. Woohoo.
Yep.
I wonder if they look at that way, It's like, oh, it's Friday. All right, Chris is rolling her eyes at me, and I know that it's time to move on.
Okay. All right. Well, we mentioned that, and look how pretty that picture is. Look at how pretty that picture is. Yeah,
I love it. Especially from Florida, I think would be fun.
Right.
I enjoyed it down there. The Carters, what you know may be wrong. That is Jimmy. It's such an amazing man. Every time Habitat for Humanity, Did you see the footage of him out there at 95
yes, I did.
Right after he got out of the hospital?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God.
That.
It makes me feel a little selfish, I guess.
Well,
that man is so humble. It's awesome.
Well, you're here.
Yeah.
Bringing all this information to the listeners out there. So.
You're so nice. So, exaggeration, misinformation, and myth have always infected politics. Really? Wow. This is right on.
You don't need a study for that.
Even before social media took it to the extreme. Misconceptions take especially strong hold where U.S. presidents are concerned. The idea that George Washington had wooden teeth is a popular myth. Mount Vernon says Washington paid enslaved persons to have them removed for his dentures. Oh, my God. So the nice story was wood. Okay, and here's one. Richard Nixon wasn't actually impeached. Myth. Myth about Jimmy Carter, including the idea that Ronald Reagan freed the hostages in Iran. Carter include the idea that Ronald Fried. Oh, yeah, Carter was responsible for that. Carter's negotiators did that, and while some called him an unabashed liberal, his record reflects a good government policy who described himself as conservative at times. Well, that's
Okay.
good. It's good to have.
He's in
And
hospice right now.
the world could use more people
Yeah.
like that. So let me see. I can't understand that. Politics, I don't think we want to go there. Here we go. This should be non-controversial.
It sounds like it
Shoe
should be
polish.
non-controversial enough, anyway.
So,
All right. Have you ever had your shoes shine?
I have, yeah.
Oh,
it's a pleasant
yeah.
experience for sure.
Okay.
Very relaxing. You want to read this one?
Well, shoe shiners are losing some luster. Once a common practice, the tradition of getting a quick polish from a rag-toting shoe shiner has become more of a rarity, and many stands have disappeared across the country. The decline has been exacerbated by the pandemic, remote working, and the rise in popularity of more casual workwear. SC Johnson, which makes the biggest shoe polish brand, which is Kiwi,
Oh, yeah. Cute.
even said in January that it had stopped selling the brand in the UK due to softening demand. They still sell it in the U.S., but there are still a few places left to get a good shine.
Yeah, I think if you see one of those stands, you might
yeah.
want to go take advantage of it.
Yeah,
What
because there's an art.
See, I
to
want
that.
to go. I have tennis shoes on, and I still want to go have them, shine it just because it's, feels good.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing to do.
All right.
All right. No, I don't think I want to go to the Ukrainian front, but if the caller wanted to talk about that, we would do it. This fight over the debt relief. Both Democrats and Republicans are preparing for a prolonged political battle over student debt relief in the U.S. Supreme Court. I don't know. Do you want to read that? Or you have an opinion?
The thing about it is, in my opinion, there shouldn't even be. I mean,
It shouldn't have come up.
no, it should never have come up.
Really?
I don't think so, because think of all of the students and all who have already paid, for their educational
like me?
loans. Yeah.
And you? Yeah,
and
but that's
then-
kind of a selfish reason. That doesn't make any sense to go,
Well,
you
use our
shouldn't get
tax
anything because
dollars
I
to
don't.
pay off their student loans.
The tax dollar is a scary one in and of itself there as to where it goes.
That's
If
right.
I could choose where it went, it would be awesome, but I don't get to do that.
Yeah.
But no, it's so expensive. And that's what he's trying to address, right? He's trying to address how expensive it is to go to college. And prices are too high. Most people can't afford it these
Well,
days.
yeah,
So
that's true.
there might be a better way to do it, but well,
Well, I don't want to get into it. It'll raise my blood pressure.
we don't want to do that. The G20, huh? What do you think?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in India. I find India fascinating.
I do want to, before we close out the show, tell the listeners out there about Francis and about his diagnosis. So if we can read about the G Summit and then go
And then
ahead
you go?
Yeah.
Okay. Foreign ministers of the group of 20 leading economies meeting Thursday in New Delhi, host India, is prompting itself as a rising superpower while leveraging its position on the global stage to bridge the gap between the West and Russia. They're poised for it. I mean, yeah, it's sad though. I mean, standard of living in India is just terrible, but there are a lot of people who work hard and I think are happy people. So, anyway, experts say India will be at the center of the bitter global division over Russia's war in Ukraine. But the South Asian country also has the opportunity to position itself the voice of the global South and the potential mediator between the West and Moscow. Great.
Right.
Hope. Can't fight hope.
Nope, you can't. And this is one of the reasons we have to keep on hoping. Francis has, as you know, been losing his voice. And there have been some other symptoms that he has endured. So we first went to the gastrointestinal, we went to the urologist, we went to the pulmonologist, and he had something wrong in every single one of those fields.
Yeah, they'll find
So
it.
we've been, that's been a horror in itself. However, Francis has been diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is ALS, which is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to go to UVA. He's been referred there to an ALS clinic,
Cool.
and he has an appointment there later on in the month. We're going to try to get him in quicker than that.
Good.
He'll have a nutritionist there to get his weight up. I understand there's a new drug out,
Cool.
infusion drug that the FDA just approved, so we're going to
Cool.
check in to that as well. Usually the prognosis for this particular disease, which is horrible, is 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So we figure that Francis probably has had it for at least 6 or 7 months. So that is the news. And we are hoping and praying that we can get the treatment that he needs so he'll be with us for as long as he can. He's a fighter. He's still taking Iggy out for walks.
Yeah. Yeah, I see him up at the front
and
lawn
takes
every
her
once in a
swimming,
while.
So he's still walking. He's strong. He's always been healthy. And
Yeah.
for this to happen is very hard for us to wrap our brains around right now. But anyway, your prayers will be appreciated, and cards and letters, he loves them.
Cards and letters.
The address is 175 Crescent Road, Farmville, Virginia, 23901. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
dear. It's
little
okay. It's definitely okay.
upset, but anyway,
Yeah.
the man upstairs is taking care of it. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not up to us anymore, and that's the hardest thing in the world
Yeah.
to let
But
go.
at least we know now what the diagnosis is, and that we can deal with it as it comes. And Francis is very positive.
He is,
Yeah.
or what I've seen of him
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah, he's
wow.
a fighter.
Once
So,
again, he
yeah.
impresses me, and I'm
That's
in
right.
awe
That's right.
of his
So-
attitude and
Yeah.
presence and it all.
Right.
But
So we appreciate him, and he did. He's been on the hospital board for a long time. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've informed the board members and everything. So and Daniel has been informed. So before it got rumors around the town, the rumors, but this is coming. So it is ALS.
the one we didn't want.
No, of course not.
You know, that's
course
the problem there.
But they
So-
have made strides, in treatment for the disease. So we're going to explore every avenue with that.
Thank you so much. We love you.
Thank
The
you.
community loves you,
Thank
and
you.
we are here for you.
Thank
so,
you.
I think that's going to wrap up our show. For
Okay.
now.
All
Love
righty.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
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 All
Love
righty.
you.
Take care.
Bye.